And we're on. Welcome, welcome, one and all, to the 2025 To Be Honest conference. We're so glad that you're joining us. And we're so glad that all these fabulous people are here with us today. We're Elena and Martin. We will be your hosts for the day.
And while we wait for people to trickle in, because we see the numbers rise and the number of participants, why don't you type into the chat from where you are joining us in this moment? So we can see the large variety of people that have signed up for the To Be Honest conference and the plus 60 countries of where you're coming from. Wow.
Amazing.
South Africa, I catch, Switzerland, Germany, but also the US. Any Boston people here? Yes.
Even more.
Alex, maybe more. Who knows?
Madrid, Heidelberg, Vienna. So all across Nigeria, welcome, Latin America,
Texas, US, Zambia, Bristol,
Prague, Italy, Ethiopia,
Ethiopia,
Turkey,
Turkey. Wow. So we learned,
Myanmar. Welcome, welcome.
welcome everyone. We learned that more than 1,100 people registered for today's conference, and you are coming from more than 60 countries, which is just like impressive and amazing. So we're really glad to have you here. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Today's keynote session of the To Be Honest conference is all about navigating uncertainty in academia and beyond. And I'm sure most of you are familiar that, well, there's quite a bit of uncertainty within academia. Nevertheless, we have the fabulous panel right here in this room addressing this and giving you lots of helpful tips and hacks how to successfully navigate uncertainty.
absolutely. You'll learn more about who they are in a moment. But before, we would like to set the stage for today's conference. And I think now's a good time actually to let Anne speak and tell you all about it, because without Anne, this conference would just not exist. So Anne, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks so much and welcome everyone. And yeah, thanks for joining the TBH conference. I'm very happy to see so many researchers and also I think quite a few research managers here today. And the conference is called Let's Be Honest or To Be Honest. So also let's be honest. And as Martin and Elena already said, uncertainty is indeed a part of research. And, you know, sometimes it can be actually pretty cool when you try to figure out something new or when you see something that no one else has seen before, then uncertainty is really nice. But uncertainty can also be really, uncomfortable and it can really suck, especially when you don't know what the next step is, when you don't know what options you maybe have beyond academia, when you don't even know if the system that you're doing research in will support research itself in the near future. So these are all uncertainties we often don't talk about very honestly, and this is why we're here today. And of course, at GSO and at this conference, we cannot really, take away all the problems or the systemic challenges that cause this kind of uncertainty. But we can do something that I think is equally important, and this is to help you have a sense of agency and to foster your agency. And for us, this kind of agency means two things. So number one is really that you know what choices are right for you. And that can mean you stay in academia, but that can also mean that you think that the price for staying in academia is too high. And that is, totally fine. And the second thing that we want to foster when we talk about agency is that we want to support excellent researchers who face additional barriers. For instance, because you're a first-generation academic, because you have an international background, and maybe because you want to start a family. And we also want to support these people so maybe that you stay in academia despite its challenges and then maybe can change it from within and make it a better place. During the next day and tomorrow also, we invite you to reflect exactly on that, on uncertainty, also what could help you, what it means for you, what kind of resources you need. And I think it's important that you remember that you're not alone in this. And you can see that we have so many participants And it's also nice to see that there are people at higher career stages and, from different backgrounds that really want to help. And many of those are in this conference today and tomorrow. So please feel free to share all of your questions, also your experiences and your piece of advice, because we want to make uncertainty not only more manageable, but hopefully a bit more promising in the future. And last but not least, I want to say thank you. Thank you to the Klaus Tschira Foundation, who funds this whole conference, so it can be free for you. And thanks to Sophia and Toby of GSO, who run all the things in the background, so that we have a smooth conference. So thanks again. So welcome, everybody. Have fun. And I'm looking forward to the 2 days ahead. And I'll head over to you, Martin and Elena, again.
Thank you very much, Anne. Thank you for introducing us and setting us up to this great keynote session. Before we dig deep into the topic, and that's what you're here for, I would like to add on what Anne just said. This session should be time for you well spent. You come from a variety of disciplines at a variety of stages in your career. There's PhDs, postdocs, professors, untenured, maybe tenured in the room, but also science managers and career advisors. Make this session time well spent for you. So please bring your questions, bring them early. There is a question and answer section you should find at the bottom of the webinar where you can put your questions and where you can also vote on other questions. So the question that maybe somebody else has raised is that you find interesting yourself, you can just get it to the top.
It gets bumped up.
Absolutely. If you have, like Anna said, any valuable resources to share, please just do share them in the chat. Try to share your questions in the question section so we can see them, and share your resources in the chat. I saw Lucas, I think, raising your hand. We won't be able to have you speak in this webinar because otherwise we will run out of time in no time. So figure out other ways to make yourself heard, like I said, through the question and answer section and through the chat. If your question seems to be very, very specific to your case, then maybe that is a good thing to follow up with one of the speakers or the GSO individually. If it is very, very personal, that's maybe a good way then to seek out some GSO career advice, and you find the resource for that in the chat. And if it's extremely broad, maybe you Google before you ask that question again. The collective intelligence in this room is much larger than anyone's on this panel. So please bring yourself to this session so we can all collectively make the most out of each and everyone's time.
Fabulous. Thank you, Elena. Let's move on and dive right into today's topic. And before we do so, let's see who is in the room. And we're going to do this in a more interactive way instead of Elena and us talking and introducing all the fabulous people here in the room. And we would like to start with you, Alex. So you just simply introduce yourself, maybe with the little 3 beats that we talked about. And then once you're done, you pass the baton on to any of your peers here on the stage.
Can you reveal the beats so for people listening, it is easier to follow? And by the way, I forgot to mention one thing.
Yes.
It's a very international crowd. Yes. Everyone has an individual speed level of speaking. You can feel free to use the closed captions, right? If that is something that helps you follow, please do so.
Thank you. The beats are, who are you? What is one surprising fact about you related to uncertainty? And maybe what is one uncertainty hack you want people to walk away with? So here we go, Alex.
Yes. Hi, everyone. It is very lovely to meet you all. I am calling in from Boston, Massachusetts. My name is Alex Yen. I am the postdoc career advisor at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So that is right here in Boston, Cambridge. I work with primarily STEM, STEM and engineering postdocs. But I would say that maybe the interesting, surprising sort of uncertainty story that's related to me is that I'm actually a humanities PhD. I'm a humanities PhD in disguise, hiding out in a technical institute. But what this is, what I want to share with you all is that my story related to uncertainty is that when I was doing my doctoral degree and finishing this up, I was seeing the jobs I had originally planned for. They seemed to be disappearing. I wasn't seeing what my future could look like. I thought I had a future. I thought I had a very clear future, but it changed a lot. And I had to figure out near the middle end of my PhD what I was going to do and how I was going to pivot into various different career paths that I hadn't really seen other people go into in my doctoral program. So if we're talking about uncertainty, what does it mean to actually even leave that world of being a researcher? I understand that entirely. The hack that I would provide is when we're navigating uncertainty, it sometimes feels as if everything is in flux. We're on this boat that's kind of in rocky waters. But I would really suggest find one thing that you can keep constant. For me, a big decision that I made was that I decided to stay where I was. I was on a national job search, and then last minute I went, I can't do this. I have to be here where I'm level and grounded with my community. Because this might be the only thing that's going to help me feel as if when everything's different and uncertain, that I can survive this. So that's my three kind of beats. So I hope I
Thank,
didn't take.
thank you, Alex. Who would you like to hear next from?
Oh, I would love to popcorn it to Timo.
Thank you. Um, yeah, I'm Timo. I'm a junior professor from Berlin, Germany. I'm an organizational psychologist. I'm at the Medical School Berlin, which is kind of a private university. And what relates me to uncertainty is that I never cared about uncertainty till I decided that it's my career. And then I became anxious about uncertainty. So I always rolled with uncertainty and it was okay for me till the day I decided I want to become a junior professor. And suddenly uncertainty became anxiety because I decided this is not just a job for a couple of years. I'm just staying. And then I'm leaving. I decided to stay. And then when uncertainty hits me in the face. And the good thing is I have the last, hopefully I have the last year of uncertainty. So I'm on a tenure track and this is my last evaluation year. So hopefully I'm going back to some kind of certainty for the next years. And I think my hack would um, be proactive about it. I totally agree with Alex. Like, where's your red line? Is there something I want to control? And then be proactive about it and probably always kill the nearest target. Because if you try to handle everything, it's really overwhelming. So that's what this is what I always say is like kill the nearest target because then I see something, I have the feeling of control, I can target something, and I don't have the feeling to be that uncertain anymore, even if it's just a kind of a control illusion from time to time. But it feels like some kind of control in this game. So I'm giving the baton over to Carolyn.
Thank you so much, Timo. And yeah, thanks for sharing this. I felt like I resonate with basically everything you say. So that's a nice start. Yeah, who am I? I'm like 1000% humanities person, musicology, early church history, and French literature. Couldn't be worse. And
Yeah.
surprisingly, after 15 years abroad in academia in 5 different systems, I made my way to a tenure track professorship in central Germany, where I'm right now. And the most surprising thing, I would say, in terms of yeah, uncertainty in academia, in my case, is that literally all my major career steps happened right in the moment when I thought, okay, now it's over. You're done. You can't do it anymore. You're out. And then, bam, all of a sudden, something moved forward. And my hack is actually keep in mind that mentorship is not necessarily a single person. In fact, mentorship is a mosaic that you can set up around yourself. So you do have agency there. You don't need for the grace of an elderly person in your field to push your career forward. You don't need that, and oftentimes it's not going to happen. And the less you obey, unfortunately, oftentimes the less it's going to happen.
The less you obey, can you say the last sentence again?
The less it's going to happen, at least from my experience. I mean, I'm not very good at obeying. So being really a humanities person, I like to think about things in my own personal way. And oftentimes that differs from paths foreseen. Yeah. And that can cause trouble, even if you're kind. Because systems are also set up by expectations. But so much for now. And now I suggest I pass the word on to Jean-Yves.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Hi, everyone. And thank you, Caroline. And nice to meet everybody here on the panel and everybody for being here to listen to us. So I am Jean-Yves Tano. I am the head of scientific talent management at the Max Delbrück Center in Berlin. And I also have been a scientist before. So I was doing also cardiovascular research before moving into science management. And one of my stories about uncertainty was when I was switching between, so I moved to Germany with a Humboldt Fellowship, which is a Alexander von Humboldt Fellowship, which was a very nice fellowship, very nice. And then I had to transition to a second postdoc. And there I had to chase the professor basically until 2 days before my contract was finished to get the new contract signed, which was of course very stressful because it was also tied to my visa. So there was a lot of uncertainty going on at that time and I was very stressed. But at the end, I managed to have the contract signed. And then since then, my career has only been very positive. So one of the hacks, I mean, I think everybody says it here. So being proactive is really the most important thing that you can do in your career. So when you are doing a PhD or you are doing a postdoc, try to find networks that you can really meet people in. Try to go to, as many courses that you can take so that because you never know where your career is going to progress. And of course, especially in this new job environment, it's always good to have many skills that you can show and be versatile for other people. So I would suggest you be proactive and look for networks and courses that can help you in your career. Okay. And with this,
thank you, Jean-Yves. Quick follow-up. When is a good time to start being proactive, to start looking for those networks?
I think from the time we are born, but I would suggest
yes.
I hear a lot of credit for that from others.
It was a setup question, but very often I have the feeling that people in academia, without generalizing, they reach the end of their PhD or postdoc, and then it's like, ooh, now oops. And so now is the time, or since you're born.
Exactly. I mean, I would say as soon as you start your PhD, of course, the PhD is a stressful time. But most of the institutes have, people you can always talk to. They have conferences. They have really talk to your PI, to your mentors. Be proactive and really try to learn as much as you can during that time, which will help you then in the next career steps.
I would even say as a student, be proactive as a student. If you're looking for a PhD, be proactive as a student.
Yes, awesome.
Yeah. And don't feel as if you have to only be talking to people that are in your same field that do exactly what you do. I would say find good people. Don't just find people because they're a famous professor. Find good people that you can work with and they can walk beside you for a long time, not just when it's an easy time.
Thank you, Alex. Let's hear from Jubin before we jump deeper into the topic.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Anna, for inviting me. I think it's a pleasure to be here. And thank you, Elena and Martin, for setting up the whole webinar and the conference. I think the energy is great. It's also great to hear what others have already told. So let me when I was asked to introduce myself, I'll put it a bit differently. Let me tell you a story. So this is the story of a boy who grew up in Mumbai in India. He basically was a shy person and he did not even find its way to speak publicly. So I can tell you that in my first presentation, I was stuck for 10 minutes to talk in front of my classmates. And I think today I'm giving this talk. So I've reached from that point to here. Connecting back, so I think why I started in my journey was because I worked in a public hospital back in India and I saw how the patients were handled. And that led me to the curiosity that, okay, there should be something done about it. And if I can, in my way of work, I can contribute. I think that would be the ultimate success that I can qualify at the end of my career. Having said that, I can totally understand many of you that I've built careers more than once. So I've been a scientist, I've looked into business side, I've now looked into the clinical software side, and I can understand how this whole phases go through. Actually, to be honest, I would change the name of the panel to not navigating uncertainty. I think we are living in a time where uncertainty is the only constant thing. So it should be that how do you navigate certainty phases in your career in the whole space of uncertainty. But what I have learned from my experience is that it's basically everyday hard work that you get up and you actually show up for what you really believe in really makes a difference. I think one of the very interesting point which was brought up in the last by the last panelist um, was that find good people. So I'll tell you now I've reached a stage in my career or in my life where I evaluate people in three different parameters as I get to know them better, unless they are friends or families. So one of them is a clean plate theory, where if I go for a lunch or dinner or I eat with them, I see if they waste food or not. That really helps me to understand. And if they go with the number of three and I really put them on the score, then I know what kind of a person that is. The second is when people are honest, I try to also understand if they are genuinely honest or they are just trying to be rude. I think it's okay to be honest, but it's not necessary to be rude. And there's a very thin line between two of them. I think that's another part to it. And the third parameter that I really try to again assess is how do people judge you in the conversations? Do they directly go to your social status or they really qualify you on the work what you do or the person who you are? I think this three parameters really help you to assess what kind of network you have or what kind of people are you talking to. So even if you have a very small network but good people around you, I think you will really qualify or be, I think, would be in the position to find support from your people around. And as a final point, so hi everyone, I'm Jubin and I'm based in Heidelberg. I have a family and I'm also uncertain what my son will come and do. So I'm also living in that space, but happy to have this conversation. Thank you all.
Thank you, Jubin.
Thank you all so much for bringing yourself and showing insights into yourself. I would like to address one thing. I see some of you are raising your hands. We won't be able to take you. So please voice your questions in the chat, in the question and answer section, or type it in the chat. Relating to the chat, Jubin, maybe just very quickly, you beautifully elaborated how you what kind of analysis you put on how to define good people. How do you differentiate being honest versus being rude?
Absolutely, Elena. So I can give you an example. I mean, it was actually today itself when I was having a conversation with someone. The point is, I can put my point very clearly that, okay, this is something which I don't agree with, but I don't go personal on that basis in a way that I have to be rude to someone. And I think there are very few, or I think it's it's a skill which is not really appreciated much, that you can put your words, you can put your points clearly, but you don't necessarily have to kind of attack someone or be very personally rude to them. I think I learned from some of my peers who are in some of the amazing positions that as they grow more, they become more humble. And I think that's the quality that I really look for, I really appreciate for. I hope that could answer at least some part of that question.
Thank you,
Thank you
Jubin.
very much. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah. Let's hit it off from here. And Carlotta, I'm seeing your comment in the chat. I had the same thought. Rudeness or honesty or talking straight has also a super strong cultural component. So when people come to Germany, to German academia as well, some of the things can resist is very rude. And yes, so it's a very sensitive topic. That's what I want to say, right? So there's a lot of intercultural, challenges. Let's put it this way. Yes.
Speaking of challenges, I love how you all shared like angles and hacks that you consider to be valuable. I would like you to go one step further and make these hacks even more concrete, because I have a hunch that the audience is kind of like longing for, what can I do now? Like, this all sounds great, but what does that mean for myself? So you have, we asked every panelist to have a sheet of paper at hand, and we will ask you a question, and we kindly ask you to put your first association, your first thought on that paper relates to the question, what is one specific tool, practice, or habit that helped you make progress in your career, even when the future felt completely uncertain? Something super specific.
And this question is in the chat. If you want to read it again, also for all viewers. It's amazing. We're approximately 400 people participating from all over the world. And hopefully you've written just a couple of words in a legible way.
Yes, that would be helpful.
More or less.
Yes, and folks at home, you can also answer yourself, right? This is the collective intelligence of 400 people, so feel free.
If you have something to
answer this in the
answer the
chat.
question in the chat. I love
Like
that.
Sadia, thank you so much. Okay, so everybody seems to be done. You're good, Alex? All right.
I'm like writing a story here.
No. Okay, yeah, on the point of three, put it. Let us see our sheets.
The
So,
top humanities cliche. Too many words.
yes.
So keep it up for one more second. Jean-Yves says, talking to a mentor and asking for help. Alex says, weekly call with my two best friends keeps me grounded.
Timo says, do it so future Timo does not have to do it. Fantastic. Jubin is right here and in the moment, so it's all about breathing. And Carolyn is set up personal appointments with successful colleagues. Wow, this is great. I want to kind of dive into Jean-Yves' mentorship question. Like, can you talk a little bit about mentorship and how to tackle this, how this is helping you to navigate uncertainty, or how it's helping people in academia and beyond?
Yes, so when I came to Germany for my postdoc, I will give a specific story. I was working on a project where, there was some mouse work involved, and then the research at the end did not work. And at that time, I was already like, okay, do I want to continue? Do I want to leave? What do I want to do? I was really already contemplating leaving academia. And I talked to my group leader at the time, and I said, look, I am really not sure which way to go. What do you think I can do, and how can you help me? And he said, I really think you are doing great science. It's unfortunate that the project is not working. So if you would like to make a better decision, I can basically write to somebody that I know who is also organizing, conferences and things like this. And you can go and try to work there to learn a bit project management and how this whole aspect works. And, I think he already sensed in me, because I was also a postdoc representative. I was also involved in a lot of these things. So he sensed in me that I was also interested a bit on this management path. And he put me in touch with this other person who was also very open and supporting me in working at the World Health Summit at the time. And I really learned a lot, and also realized that I really enjoyed this job. And I think this really helped me later to make the decision of moving to another job. And the person who I worked with at the World Health Summit is still a great mentor to me today. So he wrote me letters. He also contacted people for me when I was looking for other positions. So it really became a very great mentor that I also had in the end. And he never would have started if I was not honest with my group leader at the time and told him, look, I'm not sure into which way to go. So I think I see a lot, especially, I've been in academia for a while. A lot of people are really afraid of really talking about, do I want to move? Do I want to change careers? Am I really? And they do not talk about this enough to mentors or to people that they know. And I really want to encourage them, because doing this maybe helps to open other doors for you, which could help you then in your future career.
Love it. Thank you, Jean-Yves. I see Alex and Carolyn, you're leaning in. It sounds like you want to add to that. Please feel free to do so.
Carol, go ahead first.
Okay, thank you so much. I absolutely support that. And I would just like to add, I mean, give it a try. It's always better to give any try whatsoever, even if you fail in the end. I mean, just talking about CV of failures and all that stuff. I failed so many times. I got rejected many times. After all, I mean, once you reach a certain point, CVs are retold up to a certain degree as well. But let's face it, I mean, academia is such an uncertainty built into the system. There is no clear career path. And now there are so many different ways of qualifying for a professorship in parallel. If someone is going to tell me, okay, there's this one way to make it, even in the humanities, I don't see it. I mean, it's also not the one single book anymore that you need to write. In fact, you need to go out there. You need to talk to people. Don't rely on the fact that you close yourself into your office for 6 years. You come out with the most stellar book in your discipline in the world. And then at the end of the day, a committee who's going to decide on an interdisciplinary level upon who's going to be chosen and who's out, maybe way beyond your book. Yeah. So you need to build up not only a network, but a world of ideas, of contacts, of inspiring people from all kinds of disciplines. And it's not just about majoring your field. And it's also not only about careerism and frenetic networking all the time, but you really need to round it off in an authentic way and be yourself, and then you're going to be convincing. That's my experience.
Thank you, Carolyn. I have one quick follow-up, and maybe you can answer it in one sentence. You just shared, and I love that you have failed many, many times, right? So also taking off the lid of we do this all in this world of academia. What's your number one way to build yourself up after failure to keep going?
The more I fail, the more I tell myself, okay, I know. I mean, you can't have it all. That's it. That's my experience. And looking back, if there is that certain door that's going to close, another one's going to open. That's my experience, and it's true. And I mean, you can't have it all. I mean, unless you're completely megalomaniac. I'm just a human being. I also have a certain right to fail, but the important thing is to learn about it, to ask for feedback, to think about it twice. Okay, maybe I misbehaved. Maybe I did not present myself well. But if you're not going to get feedback, that's also a feedback.
Absolutely.
Is that a place where you wish to work? I mean,
I love the spin on having the right to fail, which I think maybe could be used a bit more in Germany or the German academic system. I have a question again for you all to put on a sheet of paper, and it's still connected to the theme of mentorship, because what I heard from Jean-Yves at the beginning was that sometimes folks are not courageous enough to ask their most pressing questions, even if they already have established a mentor-mentee relationship. So what's one thing you wish people were brave enough to ask their mentors? Let's say you already have established a mentor relationship. What's one thing you wish people were brave enough to ask their mentors? Just put it on your sheet of paper if you can.
While the panelists write, please do what you just did beautifully with this first question, dear audience, and write down the question you haven't dared asking your mentors yet into the chat.
That's right. Okay, Jean-Yves, you ready? It's a long question.
This is a good question.
Okay. All right, let's see those pages, please. Yes, thank you. Should I stay or should I go? Honest answer, Timo. Thank you. And Jubin, can you move it a bit back? Clear, yeah, towards you. Clear objective. Oh, clear objectives. Okay.
And I read from Carolyn, don't shy away from admitting that you don't know how it works.
Uh-huh.
And Alex, what would you have pursued as a job if you were not in this one?
I want them to think. I want them to actually share also about what they were uncertain about. Yeah.
Yes. And Jean-Yves, help me connect with your network. I would love to hear from you, Timo. Should I stay or should I go? How do you handle that when students come up to you and ask that question?
I answer it honestly. Most of the time, I answer it really. I don't sugarcoat academia. If people want to join, I think they should join with a clear decision to join. It's like, well, it's kind of a Shark Tank. It's full of uncertainty. It's full of problems. It's a really nice job. That sucks from time to time, most of the time, 92% of the time. But if you want to do it, then do it. And sometimes I'm never sugarcoat academia. So people who want to join know what they sign up for. It's not like, well, you have all this autonomy and all this excellence around you. You will only meet smart people. That is sugarcoating academia. You will only meet good people in academia. So from my perspective, it's like if people ask if they should stay, I give them an honest answer. And my academic mom, because she was my mentor, and I still see her, and she left academia. And I was like, oh, should I leave too? And she was like, no, Timo, this is your tribe. You have to stay here. This is your tribe. Please. Because I never wanted to go into academia, and she picked me up and said, well, you need to do a PhD. And I'm like, what? And then I did a PhD, and I wanted to become a trauma therapist in clinical psychology. And then at one point she was like, maybe you're becoming an organizational psychologist. And well, obviously I became an organizational psychologist. But she was like, stay here. This is your tribe. And she left, and I stayed. But I think it's good to be honest about should I stay, should I go, what to expect, and even the hardest part, do I bring to the table what it brings to be successful in academia? Because it's one job and it's not for everyone, like every other job. I cannot see blood. I would be a terrible doctor. I hate guts and I'm disgusted by guts. And people are like, Tim, why are you not a doctor? And like, I hate guts. I would puke all the time, really.
We don't want that to happen, Timo.
No. But this is not my job. And I'm not good to work with people who are depressed. I get depressed as well. And this is not my job. This is not something I should work with. And
it sounds to me that, sorry if I may interrupt, just looking at time as well, that one way to figure out should I stay or should I go is to surround yourself with people whose judgment you trust.
Yes.
So
judgment
that
and self-reflection. So be honest to yourself. If you ask yourself that question, is like, should I stay or should I go? Is like, be honest. Can I manage this? Do I want this? Do I really want this? Do I know what's happening around me? Do I have the resources to do this? Not only financial, but people and network, mentorship. Do I have all the resources it takes? And I think that's to find this, and sometimes the answer might hurt.
Yes.
I completely agree with Timo, and this is exactly why I say people should start early enough. to try things and not just to stay in the labs or not just, to really talk to as many people, because this will help you also find out who you are. And one question that's been coming up more and more recently is that people are looking for permanent positions in academia. And I mean, Timo, this also being honest, in academia, there are very few permanent positions if you are not a professor.
Yes.
Correct.
I really want people to really understand when they enter the system that until you get to the professorship, there's not going to be this kind of permanent positions ready for you, and you should not expect that this is going to happen. So think, if I'm not going to make it, and academia is so uncertain, what other skills can I build to be more successful somewhere else afterwards?
I also just want to kind of mention that I think that, yes, I think it's crucial for us to unfortunately think about the hard truth. But one thing I want to also be empathetic and to think about, Timo, you mentioned how it's actually really hard to think about this. And as someone where I'm, my parents are immigrants. I grew up pretty much speaking one language at home. English is my second language. My sister filled out the financial aid for me when I was going to college, and I didn't know what the heck a PhD in humanity was. So that's when we think about this idea of going into academia, we don't think about it. We have to take the time to self-reflect. What else are we holding? Are we holding the hopes and dreams of our community and our family and generations of that? Are we holding the idea that our parents all their lives have been dreams deterred and they wanted to pursue long-term educational goals and we weren't able to? Are we the one person in the US that's really doing this, and this is sort of, we're feeling that pressure? Because that, I actually think, also takes a lot of time to process, in addition to thinking about, do I have that, exactly like what you were saying, Lorenz and Timo and Caroline, right? Do I have the bandwidth to be proactive and find the right mentors to get me on track? Do I have someone that is able to, work with me on getting those grants and figuring out my life? But what else personally will I have to be facing and learning how to concretely talk to and speak to people and know that they may be very close to me and they want the best for me, but we will have a tough conversation. Yeah.
Could I add something from humanities perspective, which I'm sure is something others share as well from their experience, but I mean, I can only talk a little bit from my bubble here. The one problem, which is one of the core problems I see with entering academia, is that, I mean, there always seems to be this idea of like, you need to make a choice in a system where actually most of the times, whether it be for finding funding, for research projects, for job offers, others are making decisions not only on your working situation, but in a way also on your life. Because oftentimes, being someone who moved in fact, from different countries every other year or every 3 years during the past 10 years, I must say, oftentimes I followed the one option I had. And it's not that I could choose between like 10 different versions. Oh, is it that type of academia that I like more or less? And in fact, I also had to re-navigate many times. It's not that 10 years ago I decided, okay, I want to be a professor. In fact, I wanted to be something else, and academia was not my plan A. It was.
What was it?
I wanted to become a dramaturg at an opera house. And then I applied and made it to the final interview for a position at a really, really wonderful opera house. And then their director told me straight into my face what I would earn. And I realized, okay, like you can't pay your rent with that type of contract. And you're basically working under conditions that you have to be available 24/7. And I don't want that. So during that final interview, I noticed, okay, it's just not for me. And then in that moment, the next option was, okay, a job in academia. Now
which is such a certain place to go. Right? I mean,
academia
is paying so well.
A more certain place.
Absolutely.
If you like operas,
Yeah,
It's a
I
very
probably.
good place
Also much
because
more money, right?
no,
So
in many ways, there are many similarities. Opera houses work in many ways in a way that universities work. It's also an extremely hierarchical system. Oftentimes, you depend on the decision of few people in
and
power.
lots of drama.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
What I love about this conversation is it's all a question of perspective, right? Like how
Yes.
suddenly something that seemed so intriguing loses the attraction and then something else opens up. Jubin, I see you react to everything, but I haven't heard from you yet, and I would love to because
Should I stay or should I
should I
go?
go? You answered that question by leaving academia. How did that happen? And how did you know that you take that
Yeah.
path?
I think one of the important lines which I read in one of the book was to read a room. I see that in this room that I see a lot of chatter on academia, but maybe, I mean, I'm now outside academia, but academia is not the only world. I think academia is part of your world, but there's a world beyond that. I think it's important to also realize that there's a world beyond that. Second, I think there was a point about mentoring. I think as a mentor, I always see that how do I ask the right questions to the person I'm mentoring to? I don't want to overlay my thoughts on your vision, but idea is to see if I can ask you the right questions to take the right direction. So that's how I try to help the people in general. But Elena, coming back to your question, that how my experience was. So I was a postdoc in Heidelberg. I can also mention I did a postdoc at Biomedics in Heidelberg. Maybe some of you know that. And I was at a point where I was getting an offer from a startup from 6 people team in Berlin. So Jean-Yves, I actually also collaborated with World Health Summit during my time in Berlin. And I took a risk. So the idea was to see, and I did some, let's say, I took a basic paper, pen, and wrote down a few things. And I thought, okay, let's take a risk. And I moved to Berlin. I think Berlin is crazy. Some of you might agree. But yeah, that was one of the most, let's say, interesting step that I took in my journey. And it changed the world that I live in. It gave me exposure to what the real world challenges are, how the real world healthcare works, what's the network beyond your academic thought process. And also when you fail into taking a risk, how do you really go about it? Maybe to complete the story gets over in the March 2020 when it's the peak of Corona, and I come to know that I become a parent. I'll become a parent. The company shuts down because of the COVID, and you don't have any support from the outside world. And that's I think the story that I would leave up to you. Maybe we can continue the other part of the story next, maybe some other time.
You're leaving us with a cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger,
no.
Maximum uncertainty, and but then maybe give the people something, just a little bit. How did you come out of this maximum uncertain moment? I mean, during the pandemic, lots of us experienced uncertainty. You were also then, you knew you would become a father, so even maybe more pressure on yourself. But like, how did you overcome, in maybe one sentence, how did you overcome this uncertain moment?
Yes, Martin, but maybe to disappoint you, I would not have just one statement on that. Maybe just to also mention, I saw in the chat about the point about money instability. Coming from a country which is outside Europe, this factor plays a very important role. And I think any of you who is from that background, you need to put that perspective in your career planning. Coming back to how did I come through it, I think first of all, it takes some time to realize that you can also go through a restructuring process and a company closing down. So that was like a shock absorption. That's why I mentioned breathing. It does help. The second part was to reach out to people who you really trust and say, hey, I'm looking for help, and be genuine about it. I took up a couple of internships during that time. I reached out to founders to say, hey, I'm looking for position. Can you at least give me an internship? That did help. And finally, I also actually tried looking at the company websites, which I was very interested in to work for. And luckily, I could also create a position myself. It's not to boast that I actually could create, it's to make a point that there are solutions which are out of the box. Not necessarily everything is in the book that you read about or you see in online.
Thank you so much, Alex. I see you clapping to this. Like, is there anything you would like to add here?
I mean,
Yeah, oh, go ahead. No, please go ahead.
I just wanted to just quickly say I love that story, Jubin, because it also shows that there's also uncertainty outside of academia. So we are here, of course, the focus is academia, but it could be any job where the company closes. But as you see, being resourceful and talking to people, I mean, to me, I really say network, network, network. It's always helpful to have a good network of people to talk to when you are in any situation. So sorry, Alexandria.
No, no, I completely agree with the network. And Jubin, one thing I really appreciate about what you keep saying is the idea of being very honest about sort of what you need and being clear and explicit about
That's such
what
a
you
good
need
point.
help on. Because I think that Jean-Yves, this is also what can help you identify, right? What is a good mentor and who is someone that will be part of your network for a long time? How do they react when you are honest and you're willing to be a little bit vulnerable about saying, I'm not really sure where I'm going. It's a little bit nerve-wracking right now. Do you have any suggestions or any thoughts? Right. And based on how they're reacting, like what you were saying, Jubin, right? How do you think about the ways people are responding and reacting? You can figure out, is this a mentor that can really understand where I'm coming from and that can give me honest feedback?
Thank you, Alexandria. And this is exactly to one of the points we had in the Q&A chat regarding earlier. This person does not necessarily have to be your PI, right? In a nutshell, if
No.
you sometimes you approach this person and they're completely overwhelmed, or even worse, they mock you, or it's like that's not, or make fun of you. So maybe not a, maybe you're still your PI, but not a mentor for you. So you just find somebody else, not your PI, right? And you can have more than just one person to be your mentor, right? And they can come from all walks of life. They also can come, and I recommend you to do so if you want to leave academia, from outside the academic world, because then they can help you maybe transition, etc.
And I would even add to that they can come from any time of your life, right? Maybe people from earlier in your life know you from a different perspective, and that can be helpful too.
Yeah, Elena, I have a very quick point on
Yes.
this topic, and I think one of the key part of this discussions that many people mention about mentoring, I think that's a very critical aspect, definitely. But the second part now in today's time, when I think skills are becoming nearly equalizer, the point about sponsoring. So what do I mean by sponsoring is that you should also find people in your network who can really sponsor you to go to the next level in your career. And I think that's very undervalued point in many of this discussion, and that's very critical. That how do they support you for small conferences to make sure that they support you in referring to the next level, or maybe also allocating some budgets, and all these are part of the point on the sponsoring side, which should be part of the discussion.
And
Thank you.
especially when it comes to women, because women are over-mentored and under-sponsored most of the time. So they find a lot of mentoring, but not a lot of sponsoring. And we see this in a lot of research in female leadership, that especially the sponsoring part is really important. So I totally agree with Jubin.
Can you quickly, for everybody like tuning in, is like define what is the difference between mentoring and sponsoring?
Me?
Yeah, sure.
Or Jubin, both of you.
The difference between mentoring and sponsoring is that mentoring is that you find someone who helps you to reflect on yourself, help to identify goals. Sponsoring is opening. I think Jean-Yves had this, like, can I have access to your network? Someone who is actually talking about people they work with, people who say, well, there's a lot of research in female leadership, and this is Mona Agner from my team doing it. Have you met Mona? and not just earning the money yourself and saying, well, I know everything about female leadership. No, I have a person in my team doing this research. So this is Mona Agner. Have you met Mona? And so sponsoring people, opening your networks to them, introduce them to other people, and even in important decisions or discussions, bring them on the table. It's like, we are looking for someone for this position. I know people who would be perfect in this position, and then sponsor, speak for them, vouch for them, tell them, well, they're really good. You should have a look at them.
Push them
And this
forward.
is
Yeah,
different from sponsor to mentoring.
Thank you.
Carolyn, what did you want to say?
Sorry about jumping in there, but I mean, I was very intrigued by the aspect you mentioned, Timo, because I often see it on committees and so forth. That, I mean, it may come across as a cliche, but unfortunately, many times it's also true that women are really heavily judged all the time. I mean, I always feel like I also have to like put twice as much on the table. Why there are all these mentoring programs, but still, if I fail once, I'm a woman in a position who is not worth it. Yeah, that's kind of a big problem still in many heads. I don't say all of them, but I really feel like judgment plays a big role in there. And then, I mean, be generous to all genders. Yeah, I mean, everyone who has something important to say needs to be able to raise their voice, and so propose people for prizes.
Yes.
Try to help them to get a scholarship. Yeah, and it's also unfortunately about money. I mean, many people, especially people from socially weaker backgrounds, first generation academics, people immigrating from a country that is less wealthy, all these different actors play into the concrete situation of the work and the life of the person that's right there in front of you. And you need to be sensitive to it. So this is also for all mentors and potential sponsors in all kinds of fields, whether that be in academia or outside of academia. Try to understand who's there in front of you and where they're coming from. They may not be sensitive yet to what's them holding back. And I mean, it's not about actively creating problems for these people, but maybe people, first generation academics, are not aware of the symbolic capital that is missing, yeah, of the information that they are lacking, yeah, and that's most of the times you discover it later on. You don't understand in the first place what the crucial next step would be because no one taught you how it's going to work.
Yeah.
Thank you, Caroline. Very, very important, I think, and maybe again one of the lines that is drawn between being rude and being honest and caring.
Yeah,
And
Martin,
Jubin,
I have a very quick point on
yes.
that. I think, Caroline, you make a very important point here. And I also wanted to bring a bit different perspective here. And again, this is just my personal experience based on which I'm talking about. I think also what Timo mentioned, that it's important to support every gender and also you, Caroline. But I've also seen, for example, women not supporting women, especially in many of the academic positions, like professors not really genuinely supporting the women PhDs or candidates and research assistants and so on in difficult or during different phases. I think unless you have a clarity that, hey, let's build a tribe together and let's achieve a common goal or a common good purpose, then I think there will never be that people will be on the same side. I think the point is you should have people on the same side and the problem statement as something that you're looking to achieve. But I think that's where the real conversations should go into.
Thank you, Jubin. And before we have, yes.
Timo has to say that. I'm kind of like, I want to give it to Carolyn now because she's a woman answering to that. But I saw your hand first, Timo. So let's take order here.
Yeah,
Order.
The psychologist has to answer in me, because we know this phenomenon of people from a minority group not supporting other people from minority groups. This is self-group distancing, and this happens when you're alone or just a small group, sometimes even a token in an organization, and those
Yeah.
people distance themselves from their own in-group to be seen as more part of the majority group and not being part of the minority group. At a certain
Survival.
when there's a certain amount of people, and Jubin said like your tribe, let's build a tribe or a clan, and you have this amount in kind of a threshold, then people don't distance themselves anymore. They start to have a clan or a tribe, and this is a phenomenon we see in psychology, in social psychology, and especially in leadership and in-group behavior. Like people are distancing themselves from their own in-group. This is called social or in-group distancing, self-group distancing.
Thank you, Timo. Carolyn?
I mean, I actually have so many things to say in response to what Jubin just said. I tried just to highlight the two important points.
One thing. What's the most important thing?
Okay, the most important thing, it's a real trap for women these days, to my mind, that there are, on the one hand, as it seems, so many mentoring programs for women that for instance, during my postdoc, heard it. Yeah. I'm not going to say who said it, but I heard myself. There are so many programs in support of women these days. They are going to make a career anyways. So, I mean, the support is out there, you know, as if it were an automatic thing. And that was it. So, you know.
And it's not.
I would say it's not, because actually overall, I mean, oftentimes,
looking at the time, and we have a quarter of an hour, and Jubin also has to leave us a little bit early because uncertainty did hit, and you have to take care of your child at kindergarten call, something.
Yes.
And we also want to it's the To Be Honest conference, and this should also have like a constructive tone in a sense like, hey, what can you as an individual actually do? I know the stack is not sometimes shuffled against you, as you say, I think. So, but what can you actually do? So this question now, yeah?
Yeah. We would like to ask you one more time to write down on your sheet of paper, and we want to hear from you too, Jubin, before you need to leave us. What is the one thing you want people in the audience today to take away? If you can only name one thing.
When it comes to navigating uncertainty in academia and beyond.
Maybe Ellen and Martin, before I also show up my sheet, I just wanted to quickly mention, I think it's important to realize that linearity is not the normal thing. I think non-linear is normal. That's important to realize. And that would definitely help everyone if you try to understand that this is how it would be. This is how the life is supposed to be. And then you will find your own way. But build your own story. I think everyone will find a niche on their own.
Thank you.
Thank you for that context. I love it.
Linearity is not the norm. Yes, thank you. Okay, people are ready. Now Jubin is just, okay.
Is ready too. If you are ready, show us your answer to what is the one thing you want people to take away. Jubin says real networks. I read this as reliable networks with people that you can trust.
Timo is pivoting down on Alexandria's, on Jubin's network, also find your tribe, right? Thank you.
Carolyn says, trust your intuition early on.
That's why she didn't take the job at the opera. Alexandria, hold on to your own core values. Have that help you navigate uncertainty. That's important, right? But then the first step here would probably be to know your own core values.
Exactly.
Embrace it and prepare. But what is it, Jean-Yves?
The uncertainty. So
the uncertainty. Embrace the uncertainty.
Yes. So I mean, I think there's one saying that says like, preparation plus luck is success, right? So that means uncertainty is around us. You can live here, a bus can hit you, like it's around you all the time. And especially in your career, no matter where you are going to be, as we saw from Jubin, we heard from Caroline. So no matter what the job, there can be uncertainty, but prepare and really think, how do I want to navigate this uncertainty going forward? So talk to people, learn things, read things. Now there's a lot of uncertainty around ChatGPT and things like this, right? So that they are going to take all the jobs. Just the people, there are still people getting jobs. So just be prepared. And when you get to the interview, hopefully people will give you the job. You just have to be the best, right?
Thank you, Jean-Yves, and thank you, Jubin, for putting your contact in the chat. Thank you for being here and for making the time and sharing your wisdom. Good luck catching your kid from kindergarten, and I hope everything is fine.
And people in the chat, you can stay. We have 10 more minutes.
Yes, everybody else.
Yes, Jubin is leaving to pick up his uncertainty. Well,
to deal with the uncertainty of everyday life as a parent.
Thank you for saving me.
Again.
Yes.
Bye.
I would like to use Jean-Yves' comment as a springboard to address one question from the chat. From the Q&A. Lots of the questions have been sort of answered, and we don't have time for everyone. But one question addresses the maybe new level of uncertainty introduced to academia and other jobs with an academic training background that comes through the existence of artificial intelligence. So how would you all say can people deal with that? Timo.
Be proactive.
Be proactive.
Be proactive. Integrate this into your life.
Yes.
Make this, understand it. Really understand what it's doing and what kind of tool you are using. Do not make fun of an AI because it gives a different answer and you're just using the wrong tool. And you feel smarter than an algorithm. Be humble about algorithms because one day they will control us. So be nice to them. No, really, understand them, use them. Train to use them, train your team to use them, your team to understand them, because this box of Pandora is open and it will not close anytime soon.
Yeah.
Alex.
Figure out there's no way that AI can replace a human in terms of the care that we bring to one another, the way in which we want to make impact. But what AI and ChatGPT and what machine learning does is that it can enhance what you yourself distinctly bring. So, for example, it can help you collect a large amount of data set. So, at least in my job, for example, for career advising, it can help develop a large enough scale of data set to help teach the postdocs what are the ways in which they can frame their resumes and their CVs in a structural way that actually tells a narrative that makes them stand out, right? This is something that it would take me years to just collect a billion documents. But when you develop these kind of tools to help enhance rather than feel like it replaces your work, that's really when we can stop being afraid of it.
Thank you, Alexandria.
Anything you would like to add to that new challenge of uncertainty, Jean-Yves or Caroline?
Yeah, of course, I want to play my humanities role here. I mean, as wonderful as it is, of course, learn how it works. You need to be able to manage it, but still, all the more, push your originality, push your creativity. Yeah. It's very important because AI is always learning from thoughts that are already out there. And all I can say, especially as a humanities person, is, I mean, it's going up to a certain level, but I mean, I'm still an idealist, maybe. You can call me an idealist, but excellent art is always at the core set up by original ideas. And that's something very important and genuine to human beings. I still believe it.
I love having a fellow humanist on this panel. It's great.
Jean-Yves.
Elena and Martin, we were at this conference a couple of weeks ago, which was rather negative about AI. I don't have this feeling. I mean, I think especially somebody transitioning in their career, as Alexandria said, could benefit a lot from these tools, right? So because they can help you to really think, they can help you to train for interviews, they can help you to better your CV, they can help you to write cover letters, It's just about learning to use the right tool for the right thing, right? So if you have a small ball and you take a big hammer, of course, it's not going to work. You just have to see what tool is fitting and for the job that you are doing, especially and in science now, we are all moving towards this because you get these big data sets and you need to be able to analyze them. And it's much easier, of course, if you have an algorithm that can help you to do this easier. So it's not going away. It's all there. So please just learn how to use it and use it consciously to help you in your career. That's all I can say.
Thank you very much. As we're coming to the end of our shared time together, now we would like to ask you, dear audience, one final question. Looking back at this hour we just spent, what is one thing you will do to better navigate the uncertainty of your academic system, or if it is the German academic system, then to navigate the uncertainty of the German academic system? Please share your answer in the chat and see it as a little bit of a small commitment to yourself to actually become proactive and do something other than walking away with this good feeling of like, oh, I have so many inspirations and now I'm going back to where I was before.
I can see where this is going. A lot of PIs will get a couple of hard questions the upcoming days. I love it.
I think it's a great gift for the holidays and the year on a bang.
I love it that people are highlighting informational interviewing. That is great to grow your networks, right? More real mentors, have more than one mentor.
Find a job outside Germany. Okay, yeah, that's another angle we didn't talk about. Maybe you should talk to Carolyn, who has worked in different academic systems, or Alexandria and Jean-Yves, and maybe Timo, you also have outside of Germany academia experience, right?
Embrace uncertainty.
You don't. Good. I'm sorry. I wasn't sure, so I made it up. I was uncertain.
No. I always stayed in Berlin.
And you made a career.
I was born here, grown here, and I did all of my academic work here. I like to leave from time to time, but I like to have kind of an harbor to come home. So
it's
I
a beautiful,
like my hometown,
full
even if it's
circle.
crazy and rude.
It's a beautiful full circle to Alexandria's point of community. I just remember, and you can answer this with a very short word, Timo and maybe Carolyn, there was a question of like, will uncertainty go away once you are tenured? Yes or no?
No.
Well, I mean, the question is also what kind of tenure you got, I must say, because I mean, professorships are no longer set up in the way they were 40 years ago, I must say. So, I mean, there are still many challenges, and you're set under immense pressure in order to acquire funding. And if you want to support others, it's all the harder. It's difficult. So the challenges are still there, but of course they move to a different part of your work. I mean, maybe they are of course, they are no longer that existential because you have a lifetime position, and that changes many things. But I mean, then there is also the problem of part-time work that's increasingly there in academia in order to save money, budget cuts, and everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, also with tenured people.
What is your point, Timo?
I would say it shifts. First of all, I'm not tenured yet, so I'm still anxious about it. I'm still waiting for my committee to come to a decision. But I think it shifts. I will get calmer and quieter in one area in my life, but I think uncertainty is not only a part of academia, it's part of our life, especially now with all these multi-crises. And there are so many things to be anxious and angry about in the world.
Let's not end on that note.
Let's
not end on this note.
But I'm happy if I'm tenured, because then at least I can put down my suitcase and know where I will stay for a while.
That you ever to leave Berlin again.
In Berlin.
No,
Yes, someone in the chat even highlighted, and I think it's so beautiful. You, Timo, are a lucky person. Most of us are encouraged to look outside Germany and need to move a lot. I think you're not only lucky, I think you're also prepared, right? Like what Jean-Yves said, luck favors the prepared mind. So I think Timo was also very proactive and not only lucky and just hanging out in Berlin. It's like, oh, look, I got a postdoc here. Oh, wow. No, so I think there was a lot of productivity connected to it and preparedness. And it just shows you, I don't know who said it, Carolyn or Alex at the beginning, like, these career paths in academia are so highly individual, so you can't stay in.
And Caroline said that, yeah.
Yes, thank you, Carolyn. All your life, you have a big, beautiful circular academic career like Carolyn. I don't know, you say like Alexandria, look, I'm gonna nail it down. I want to stay in Boston because here's my tribe, here's my community, and this is non-negotiable, boom. Or Jean-Yves, who also went many different places, so highly individual. So there's not the one right way to do things.
Trust your intuition is what I would all sum this up in one sentence, if I can, because that's what I heard you all did. You figured out
written
what
on a piece of paper
matters to you.
Caroline?
Yeah, Caroline said it. We're coming to the end, and before we let you go and allow you to explore more workshops at this wonderful conference, Anne, I would like to call you back for a brief second to send us into the next thing that's going to happen. Yes.
Yeah. Hi, I'm back. Yeah, thanks so much. That was a wonderful discussion. I had a lot of fun and was very, very interesting to listen to you. So what's going to happen next? So you have now the choice of two parallel sessions. One is about from anxiety to action, coping with academic career insecurity. Timo will be there as well, and two other people. And parallel to that, there was a little shift. So we will talk about securing funding with Sabine Preuße. So if you're interested in that, do that. We will record these sessions and make a little bit of a sort of summary for them. You won't see the recording, but you will get a summary with the best bits and pieces. So if you cannot decide, that's okay. Hope to see you there soon, and thanks again to everyone who was here and who discussed. And thanks to you for joining.
Thank you so much. Take a break. We'll see you at 1/2 in one of these two sessions. And at the end of the day, 1/4 to 6 o'clock, there's going to be a wrap up and a close tomorrow.
I think they're stuck, but basically, yeah, it says there's a wrap up at the end as well. So you were stuck for a little bit.
Oh, no!
Thank you.
The final stuck moment.
A glitch in the matrix.
Uncertainty. Uncertainty.
Oh, we're back. We heard you and we heard us. So yes.
Uncertainty.
Pauses are very, very important. You need to hear the silence.
Yes, love it. Just roll with whatever happens. Take care. Thank you very much for your time, and enjoy the rest of today and the conference. Goodbye.
Bye.
See you soon.
Keep in
Bye-bye. Thank you
touch.
so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.